स्वयं रूपः कदा मध्य ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथं तं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूत परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखानन्ती च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुभय एव च पतितानामे पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्दन श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादित गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण.
Very nice, Mataji. Read on to you. So, devotees, we are on the final chapter, chapter 18, and today's verse would be 47. So, Krishna is emphasizing a lot. He has already spent one chapter, chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. And again, even almost half of this chapter, very final chapter, which is the gist of all the Bhagavad Gita, the 17th chapter, is again reiterating the importance of the three gunas, what is the varnashram and so on. Because this is very practical. Unless we understand all this thing, what is my duty? Where do I belong to? And what am I supposed to do? In today's world, actually, nobody even thinks about all those things. They don't care. That is what is that in this Kali Yuga, especially right now, in 2026, there is nothing called Varnashrama.
ये अंदर है मैं बात खड़ी ना थी.
Hare Krishna. So, there is nothing called Varnashrama. Everything is messed up. Why? If you see, all the temples are run by Kshatriyas. Even now, the rituals, the philosophy, everything is controlled by Kshatriyas. That was never in the olden, but the Vedic culture, by the Vedic heritage, Mahabharata, Ramayana and all, the kings used to take instructions from the sadhus and the acharyas, and they will implement that. Nowadays, they do it just for namesake, if at all. Nowadays, even consulting them has become a political thing. They say, why are you doing this? Don't do this. Which acharya will you call? We have a different religion. We have 10 different religions in our country. I will not agree to your preacher or your monk. Somebody from our side has to come and say this. So it's all a messed up system right now. Brahmana is not a Brahmana. The so-called. What is that Bhagavatam? It says, Kalau Shudra Sambhava. Kalau Shudra Sambhava. Meaning we are born Shudras in this Kali Yuga. The reason is that we are not keeping Krishna in all our activities. Originally, in the Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga also, there were a segment called Brahmanas, segment called Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudra. But there was one thing, they all worked for Krishna. They all worked for Vishnu. That is the perfect Varnashram. Doesn't matter. So they didn't really bother. Whether you are a Shudra, okay, Vishnu has given me this opportunity, I'll do it. Okay. But in today's world, lifestyle, Krishna is not that. So this Varnashram, it may come to many people might criticize. Who is your Brahmana is not even performing as a Brahmana. That's true. But we are to be blamed. The Kali Yuga, the nature of the Kali Yuga is like that. So Krishna is asking the devotees to look into that and make sure we work for Krishna. Once if we work for Krishna, we automatically fall into perfect varnashram because we are transcendenting. At that time, it really does not matter whether we are really doing as a Brahmana or a Kshatriya. Even under the devotee circle, there can be, as we have been talking about past 2-3 days, there can be one devotee might have more of a Brahminical quality. He will be regarded as a pujari normally, Somebody is very good in the leadership. Because in various, even all the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, there are hundreds and hundreds of temples, almost 1,000 temples. So there is a lot of interaction among the ISKCON, lot of interaction with the community, with the society. There is interfaith. You have to follow what the state is saying, what the city is saying. So you need a leader. So that also, even a devotee, initiated devotee, but he takes up the role of a Kshatriya. Similarly, a Vaishya, they might be doing so many things for the temple that may involve, maybe I have to construct some gift shop. It is very much needed for the temple, but there is some trade involved. You have to get all the articles that you can sell it. Many big ISKCON temples sell clothing. And also Shudras, whoever can do the work, We had one very unique brahmachari in the Kansas City temple, young guy. He came, he was not so much interested in philosophy, but he was very much interested in kirtan, and he was exceptionally talented in cleaning up the temple. We had almost like 3 levels, and the basement was the kitchen with all the prasadam room and so on. And after the Bhagavad Gita class is over, which is almost like 8:30, everybody will go, they will retire for the day. But this Prabhu, he will go and clean up everything, spick and span. He was amazingly talented in doing that. It's not easy, devotees. After, from Mangala Arti, you're doing so many seva. And in the end, you are left alone, but you want to clean up the temple. And when the next day morning, the devotees come from Mangalarti, everything is very nice. So that was his quality. Is he a devotee? He's definitely a devotee. But he's doing a certain, like we can call it as a Shudra type of work. But in devotional service, there is nothing called Shudra, Brahmana, Kshatriya. You transcend. You become Vaishnava. Amazing. Srila Prabhupada has given us that opportunity. Whatever you do for Krishna, if you do it sincerely, you automatically become Vaishnava. You don't have to anymore think, am I a Shudra? Which capacity am I working? I'm washing all the containers and utensils for the temple. Am I a Shudra or am I a Brahmana? Who am I? You don't have to ask that at all. You are a Vaishnava. So devotees, let us clean up our mind. Devotees need not really fall into this category. If you work for Krishna with a very pure, sincere mind, but if you bring some personal motive and start working, then again you fall. You have to be considered as one of these segment, whether am I working as a Vaishya, I have some profit motive mind in working with the temple. So devotees are given this very, very special status to be a Vaishnava. So let us see, Krishna is again reiterating in this 1847 that it is always better to do according to your nature, swabhava, swadharma. Krishna is bringing all the swa means the natural, the original, your inbuilt, inherent inclination, your inherent qualities to do certain things. Somebody might be very good in singing kirtan. Somebody might be very good in doing deity worship. Somebody might be very exceptionally talented for deity decoration also. All this, different segments of the devotional service. But if a person who is very good in doing, let us say, kirtan, but he doesn't have the quality to do the deity decoration, But if he thinks, oh, no, I want to be like that devotee, because they are always on the stage, they're very close to the deities, I want to be like that, it may not work. That is what is Krishna saying here, that you can try. If you have the talent, Krishna will help you with, he will empower you. When Srila Prabhupada opened so many temples, 108 temples, he never had so many pujaris. He used to just call whoever was senior at that point of time. He would say, go to this temple. You are going to take care of the pujari department from maybe next week. And they had really didn't have much experience or much knowledge how to do it. But Srila Prabhupada used to train them. And after sending them to the temple, Prabhupada will pray for them to Krishna. Krishna, please direct them nicely. That is how all the devotees, they learn under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada. That is what is Vaishnava. For that, you don't have to, that is the natural, our original. Again, there is a conditional kind of our qualities, then there is a constitutional quality. Constitutional meaning our Atma. Our Atma is eternally wanting to serve Krishna. That's it. It doesn't need anything else. Anything directly related to Krishna's service is all constitutional. Anything other than that, it becomes conditional, like we are all doing. We always wake up, we go to work. Of course, we attend some of the programs in the morning, we attend some of the programs in the evening, but many times we also have a family, we take care of our job, we take care of them. So those are all conditional. But if a devotee is very advanced, he can combine both. He can make all the conditional activities as a constitutional activities. It becomes perfect in Krishna consciousness. That is why this is called perfection of renunciation. Not only perfection of renunciation, again here renunciation does not mean giving up work. It is giving up the result of the work. You are not attached to that particular outcome. So devotees, let us read, before we get into 47, are we all very clear about the Varnashrama and the three modes of nature? Or any thoughts, comments so far? No thoughts, no comments. So we are all clear. That is a good thing. So we all understand that, yes, we fall into some kind of a Varna Ashrama. And then, but our goal is to transcend that. We really don't have to fit into one particular category. We work for Krishna in any capacity. Was Srila Prabhupada is a classic example. Was he a Brahmana? Was he a Kshatriya? Was he a Vaishya? Was he a Shudra? Or was he married? Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, or Sannyas? He was everything. Because when he started this program in Western countries, especially in New York, he used to wash all the, after the whatever Sunday program, he used to wash everything, clean the entire whatever center or room, everything he used to do. Normally, sannyasis, they don't do it because they are always engaged in, preaching and, doing other seva to Krishna. But Srila Prabhupada did everything because he's already gone beyond all this ashramas. That is what a devotee should try to achieve. We are in that path. We have to advance and get more perfection. So devotees, let us read this, 1847. Who can read, devotees?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, then I can try, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna devotees, and Pranam, all praise to Shri Prabhupada. Shriyan Swadharmo Viguna Paradharma Swa Anustitat Swabhava Nityam Karma Kurvan Apnoti Kilbisham. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, very nice, Prabhu. Two more devotees. Is Chirag Prabhu, Prabhu, are you new or you have attended before?
No, I attended no, you came to Chandanji's house and you added me to this group, so I was just listening.
Oh, okay. Chandanji, okay, very good.
Yeah, the past weekend you came for a
Yes,
kirtan there.
yeah, very good.
So
I'm glad.
I had a time, so I said, let me join.
Very good, Prabhu. I'm glad you were able to join. Would you like to read, Prabhu, if you're comfortable?
Yeah. श्रेयांस स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मास्त्वनुष्ठितात् स्वभावनियतं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्.
Very nice, Prabhu. Looks like you have been reading Bhagavad Gita, right? You're reading.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Very good, Prabhu. Please feel free to share, Prabhu. This is not a lecture type. One of the devotees will lead each day, but everybody participate. Share your thoughts, comments. We would like to hear from you also.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever I can, because of the, I don't want to take a lot of time from the devotees here, but whenever I can join, like
Sure.
sometime I'm busy with kids, so but I would like to join definitely. Thank you, Ji. Thank you.
Very nice, Prabhu. Okay, one more will take devotees.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare
Go
Krishna,
ahead.
devotees. Shreyan swadarmo vigunaha paradharmat swanustitat swabhavar niyatam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Very nice, Mataji. Haribol. Devotees synonyms translation.
Hare Krishna, I can read.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Synonyms and translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Synonyms: Shreyan, better; Swadharmaha, one's own occupation; Bigunaha, imperfectly performed; Paradharmat, than another's occupation; Suanusthitat, perfectly done; Swabhava, niyatam, prescribed according to one's nature; karma, work; kurvan, performing; na, never; apnoti, achieves; kilbisham, sinful reactions. Translation: It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions.
Very nice, Mataji. Haribol. Devotees, this has got two paragraphs. Maybe two devotees can read. How about the first one?
I can start.
Please, Prabhu.
One's occupational duties prescribed in Bhagavad Gita. As already discussed in previous verses, the duties of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra are prescribed according to their particular modes of nature. One should not imitate another's duty. A man who is by nature attracted to the kind of work done by Sudras should not artificially claim to be a Brahmana, although he may have been born into a Brahmana family. In this way, one should work according to his own nature. No work is abominable if performed in the service of the Supreme Lord. The occupational duty of a Brahmana is certainly in the mode of goodness, but if a person is not by nature in the mode of goodness, he should not imitate the occupational duty of a Brahmana. For a Kshatriya or administrator, there are so many abominable things. A Kshatriya has to be violent to kill his enemies, and sometimes a Kshatriya has to tell lies for the sake of diplomacy. Such violence and duplicity accompany political affairs, but a Kshatriya is not supposed to give up his occupational duty and try to perform the duties of a Brahmana. Thank you.
Very nice, Prabhu. Devotees, one of us can read the second paragraph. Let us see. Chirag Prabhu, are you able to read this one?
I'm having a slight background noise with the kids. Can you excuse me today?
Oh, no problem. Prabhu. Yeah, no problem. Absolutely. Why not Sunita Mataji? You want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. One should act to satisfy the Supreme Lord. For example, Arjuna was a Kshatriya. He was hesitating to fight the other party. But if such a fighting is performed for the sake of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there need be no fear of degradation. In the business field, also, sometimes a merchant has to tell so many lies to make a profit. If he does not do so, there can be no profit. Sometimes a merchant says, "Oh, my dear customer, for you I am making no profit." But one should know that without profit the merchant cannot exist. Therefore, it should be taken as a simple lie if a merchant says that he is not making a profit. But the merchant should not think that because he is engaged in an occupation in which the telling of lies is compulsory, he should give up his profession and pursue the profession of a Brahmana. That is not recommended. Whether one is Kshatriya, a Vaishya, or a Sudra does not matter if he serves by his work the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even Brahmanas who perform different types of sacrifice sometimes must kill animals because sometimes animals are sacrificed in such a ceremonies. Similarly, if a Kshatriya engaged in his own occupation kills an enemy, there is no sin incurred. In the third chapter, these matters have been clearly and elaborately explained. Every man should work for the purpose of Yajna or for Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anything done for personal sense gratification is a cause of bondage. The conclusion is that everyone should be engaged according to particular mode of nature he has acquired, and he should decide to work only to serve the supreme cause of Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Very nice reading, Mataji. You want to little bit expand on this? I think who read the first paragraph? Prabhu,
Yeah, I
Prabhu.
read. Yeah, I
Yeah,
read.
you want to expand a little bit, Prabhu? Then maybe Sunita Mataji can also reflect.
Yeah, right. So in this paragraph, Krishna is again emphasizing how one should perform the duties according to one's nature. Uh, if you're inclined to do a Sudra's work, but you happen to be born in a Brahmana family, it doesn't matter. So you should not artificially try to do the work of the Brahmana. That's one thing it's saying here. Because when you do that, then it becomes sinful. You should just do according to your nature what you're inclined to perform. Because then you'll do a good job, and then you after that you give the results of the work to dedicate everything to Krishna. Similarly, a Kshatriya or a Brahmana, uh, a Kshatriya, he's an administrator or he's a fighter, but during the course of his work, uh, he may have to kill and fight and kill the enemy, and that's part of his duty to maintain law and order or to fight for the country or whatever it is. So he cannot, just because he has to uh, be engaged in some violence, he should not feel that, oh, I don't like to do this, I'd rather be a Brahmana. And that was the situation with Arjuna, because Arjuna didn't want to fight, as we saw in chapter 2. And so he was torn between fighting and becoming a sannyasi. Uh, but then sannyasi wouldn't be his right inherent quality, because he was a perfect uh, marksman when he used his dhanush. So for him, the Kshatriya, as he was born, was his rightful nature, and Krishna, of course, assured him that what he's fighting for is for dharma, and he has his full backing of the Lord. So that way, he has backing of Krishna. If he did anything else, he wouldn't have had the backing of Krishna. So, so it's very important that we follow our nature and then we offer the results to Krishna, and we should be okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, very nice, Prabhu. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada is talking about certain things like how a Kshatriya sometimes he may have to lie. And many times the Vaishyas also, even a small lie. Let's say they say that I am giving you the best discount. It may not be true at all. It may not be the best. He might have given something better to somebody else just 15 minutes ago. But they say that I'm giving you the best discount. Okay. So something like that. So that is a lie. But, it is accepted that in the business that, to do some kind of a diplomacy or some kind of customer relationship, some adjustments are made. But there is something illegal that you do something very wrong, very unethical. We are not talking about that. We are talking about certain thing that is somewhat allowed. For example, even a Brahmana in today's time, there are some temples in India, they do still animal sacrifice as an offering to the deities, mostly to maybe Durga or maybe to Kali. It still happens. So it is allowed. Per Shastra also it is allowed. But those are all allowed for the people who are not definitely on the Brahmanical category. They're not Kshatriyas also. They're not Vaishyas also. They mostly fall into the Shudra category. They do a lot of menial work, and for them, these kind of certain rituals are allowed. It is still allowed. Is it right or wrong if the Brahmana starts thinking, hey, you know what, I'm not going to do the puja for this, but I will try to become a Kshatriya. Then Kshatriya, you have to also face the same thing. Kshatriyas have to, for example, a security officer, he may have to deal with certain type of violence. For example, somebody has taken a group of people as a hostage. Then we see that a SWAT team, they break their all the doors on the house and they go inside. Is there some violence? And one or two people may even be killed in that operation. So is there a violence involved by saving? There is some violence involved, but is it required? It is required because it is. I think the term for doing something like that is called like the swabhava. You have to do certain kind of dharma. It may be slightly a variation, maybe slightly even against the existing dharma, but to uphold the higher dharma. I think it is called apadharma or something like that. Where, for example, a criminal is speeding away, let's say 70 miles per hour, but the speed limit is only 50 miles. He's already, done something illegal. He's also violating the traffic speed. Now the police, to catch him, they may have to drive at 75 miles. Are they kind of breaking the law? In one sense, because the speed limit is only 55. The police now has to go at 75. But that is considered as part of the dharma, to upkeep the dharma. So similarly, like this, even in the Kshatriya, sometimes, Srila Prabhupada very nicely explaining, they may have to lie. Devotees, can you quote one classic example of a Kshatriya lying as instructed by Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Aswadhama Hataha Prabhuji.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Krishna, during the Mahabharata war, it's almost getting toward the end. The 15 days is already done. And Krishna is saying, hey, you know what? I spent a lot of time. Now let us conclude this. Okay. So he would tell Bhima, Dronacharya is still alive at that time. Unless you conquer Dronacharya, there is no way the Pandavas can win over the Kauravas. Now he asked Bhima, you just loudly proclaim that Ashwatthama is dead. And once if Dronacharya comes to know about that, he will collapse because he had so much attachment for his son. So the Bhima does that. He accepts Krishna's instruction. He does that. Now it comes to Yudhishthira. When Dronacharya comes to know that Ashwatthama is killed, he would ask Yudhishthira, is this true? And what Yudhishthira will do, I think the exact thing is something like Nara ki Gunjara he Ashwatthama hata. Meaning
Narova
Nara.
Kunjrova.
I'm sorry?
Narova Kunjrova.
Narova Kunjrova. Okay, very good.
Yep.
So Nara means human being. Kunjara means elephant. So what Yudhishthira is doing is that he would very mildly, he will lower the sound of the elephant, Kunjarova, but he will very loudly say Nara. So he is not very clear. At the same time, he has fulfilled Krishna's instruction also. It's almost a lie, but he did not lie. Because the way he phrased it, the Yudhishthira is saying, yes, Guru, a man, very mildly he says, an elephant has been killed. And at that moment, Dronacharya is not paying too much attention because his entire concentration is Ashwatthama. He should have thought at that time, where is this elephant coming into picture? Why elephant? He is talking about elephant, but he didn't pay attention at that time. This is all part and parcel of Krishna's Leela, though. But what we learned from this is that sometimes, as per Krishna's instruction, some Kshatriyas may have to also lie. Why is lying? To bring dharma. After this war, 15 days, 16 days, 17 days, 18 days, it has to come to an end and dharma has to prevail. For that, there has to be it is said that this 18 days of war, there was a lot of such things were done by Pandavas also, where it seems like they deviated from the dharma, but it is to uphold the higher dharma. For example, even the last day when Duryodhana is going there to seek protection from his mother, Krishna would send, Arjuna. Even Krishna would go, sorry. He would meet with Duryodhana and he would say, are you going to go like this without any clothes to your mother? So these are all, at one sense, it may think, why Krishna? Why is it not being, is he trying to cheat? It's not cheating. It is upholding the dharma. Certain things can be done. So that is what is even Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here. Sometimes even the Kshatriya has to lie. But devotees, the point to be noted here is that in today's world, the Kshatriya, the so-called the political leaders, governance, they only lie. It is not to uphold any dharma at all. That is the only major difference between the Vedic way of understanding what is dharma versus what somebody would say, hey, even Yudhishthira lied, why cannot I lie? Right? So, Sunita Mataji, you want to add something more for the second paragraph?
No, Prabhuji, you are all very much explained. So in single sentence, like whatever occupation you selected according to the divisions. So if you spent, everyone should spend results to the Supreme, to service to Supreme Lord Prabhuji.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a very good answer. we should always sacrifice all our activities. Yat karoshi, yat yasnasi, right? Krishna says, whatever you eat, whatever you do, whatever austerities you do, tat kurushva madarpanam. That just surrender, sacrifice that as an offering to me, right? Bhoktaram yagna tapasam. Krishna is the enjoyer. So we offer everything to Krishna, but we will work. We are going to work, but we'll offering the result to the Supreme Lord. So that is what is Krishna consciousness all about. So in Srila Prabhupada's time, there was not really something called a congregation. Everybody, they were just temple devotees. Hundreds and thousands. They just left everything, whatever they're doing, and they just transformed themselves. They used to live in the temple. In the past 40, 50, 60 years, things have changed. Are we devotees? We are also devotees. But the format has slightly changed. We don't live in the temple anymore. We are not really taking part in the temple from morning Mangalarti to so many, Guru Puja, Bhagavatam class in the morning. Then all through the day, there is Radhabhoga Arti in the afternoon. Then in the evening, there are 2 or 3 artis. In the night, there is Bhagavad Gita class, morning Bhagavatam. So there is a whole structured activities are there. Are we participating on those? Somewhat we are trying through online and other things. But we are also doing a lot of our conditional activities. That is the main thing we have to understand. We are now a mixture of even the devotees, almost 40-50% is conditional activities, then other 40-50% is constitutional. Constitutional means that is what we are supposed to do as an Atma. Completely thinking about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, doing all the services for Krishna, preparing prasadam for Krishna, distributing prasadam with others, and also distributing the knowledge with others. That is what is our constitutional position. The more and more we can align the conditional and constitutional, that is a very good spiritual advancement, devotees. So let us take a couple more comment. Bhashwati Mataji, you want to say anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. It's a very nice discussion, Prabhuji. As you said, like we do not have to imitate another's occupation. As Lord Krishna in those in a few verses he mentioned about savavajam. So means one person he was born with psychophysical nature, and that nature is with him or her for the entire life, and that won't be changed. Like if someone wants to change it, it's not possible to change, but with the Krishna consciousness we can utilize that nature, that savava, to Krishna. We can offer our whatever fruits of the work or whatever the nature of work we are doing it for to Krishna. Then the perfection will come. That way we'll get the perfection in life. As for example, like as Prabhuji mentioned about, like in the temple, someone is very good in cleaning. Someone is very good in deity worship. Someone likes to cook. So whatever the nature someone has, and they can just serve with that nature to Krishna. That's quality of work, and that way we can please Krishna. It's very important. Like Prabhuji in Arjuna, here Krishna told him to fight. Means he is fighting under the instruction of his Guru Lord Krishna, Arjuna. So Arjuna says, no, I do not want to fight. I do not want to kill anyone, kill my relatives, because he is thinking himself, like he is doing it. But under the instruction of Lord Krishna, he is doing it. And his nature, he was born as Kshatriya. So he cannot go to the forest and do the japa. At least that time he has to fight. So he cannot escape from his duty. So at the same way, whatever varna we are in, actually as Srila Prabhupada says that in this age of Kali, actually we are all Shudras. And at the top of everything, who are following this path, spiritual path, they are all Vaishnavas. So that's why, like, it is important for everyone and to apply whatever spiritual knowledge we are getting every day in our life without wasting time, because we don't know when the death will come. So, and time flies. So that's why, without wasting time, whatever um, we can do for Krishna every day, day to day life, raising our kids with Krishna conscious environment is very important. As a parents, we have to give them, now that's their choice how much they will take it, but we have to do our duty, as well as for preaching purpose also, to telling others, like devotees are para dukhe dukhi, para shukhe shukhi, because devotees are very very unhappy when they see that other people are suffering. So that's why there always helps people to give the real knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So that's very important. Someone is a materially can give some help, as like material help, like money, things who are in need. Yes, definitely, that's also needed. If there is no food for someone, we cannot discuss Krishna Katha with them. They first have to eat. So that's why ISKCON all over the world, they are giving free prasadam. So that's what needed. Like, and but ultimate goal is to give Krishna consciousness. That's the real essence of the life, real happiness. And through our nature, quality of work, we can do that. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, back to you.
Hare Krishna. Very nice, Mataji. Devotees, another
Ju-
these
uh,
can.
Prabhuji, I want to
Yeah.
add one small thing. Is it okay?
Sure, sure. Please go.
Yeah. So we talked about the story of Yudhishthir, right? Yudhishthir, the name of the Yudhishthir, if you take the word dharma in the Sanskrit Vyakarana, the Gaunavritti meaning of word dharma is Yudhishthir. One of the meaning. That means not the direct meaning, but because he's a son of Yama, Dharma. He even Dharma himself, Dharmaraj Yudhishthir, he lied um, in the Kurukshetra war. He still had to pay for his act of lying in afterlife when he was going for afterlife. When he was going for a Swargalok, he had to briefly pass through the Naraklok, and that was his punishment for lying. So I the point is that even when we uh, uh, knowingly do something wrong, the one cannot escape the effect of karma in this life, in the future. The one still have to, even Dharmaraj Yudhishthir has to pay for his karma of lying.
Yes. Agreed, Prabhu. But the way we have to understand all this thing, Pandavas suffered quite a bit. Duryodhan was enjoying most of the time. So did Pandava, did they do anything wrong and they are suffering? We have to understand that such kind of, like you mentioned that Yudhishthira had to go through certain after effect for lying. Those are all as a Leela, we have to consider this as a Leela and not as directly as a part of karma, because they have acted under Krishna's instruction. The reason being, it is for us to know that, yes, this, whatever we do, we have to do it properly. Otherwise, everybody will start taking an exception. They'll say, you know what, I have a swabhava of Shudra. I'll just sleep as much as I want. But that is not the swabhava of Shudra. And lying. Oh, somebody was allowed to lie, let me also lie. To counter that, Krishna also made that Yudhishthira had to go through certain after effects for lying. But since they acted as per instruction of Krishna, they are all, whoever were part of Mahabharat, Prabhuji, they all went to spiritual world. They all went to spiritual world. Even somebody like Putana, who tried to kill Krishna, she was a demon trying to kill Krishna, but because she came as a mother, Krishna took only the positive thing out of that. And he gave her a platform for her in spiritual world, as equal as Mother Yashoda for Putana. So we have to understand this in a very broader spiritual understanding. When you act as per Dharma, as per Krishna's instruction, then you are covered. There may be some, materially it may seem that I got certain, negative outcome of doing certain thing, but it is all for Krishna's. That is why we are sacrificing it to Krishna. Karmanya ivadikaraste mahaphaleshu kadachana. And we have to act selflessly and sacrifice everything to Krishna. Once if you do that, after that it doesn't matter whether you get affected by the karma or not. You take everything as Krishna's arrangement. That is how the mood of the devotee. But you are right. There are certain, but one thing, Yudhishthira did not lie out of his own effort. So technically, by going through all the Bhagavad Gita, we understand that he doesn't accumulate any karma at all. But your episode is also correct. That is for the larger population, for us to understand that if you do bad, even at the instruction of Krishna, we should try to avoid that, something like that. But that is not completely true because he is already elevated into spiritual platform. To quote another example,
Thank you,
devotee.
Ji.
Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you for your explanation.
Yeah. See, certain things we have to understand what is Krishna's Leela. For example, Prahlad Maharaj, young boy, he suffered so much. And just for trying to worship Lord Vishnu. And by who? Not by some other villain, his own father. Did Prahlad Maharaj, did he do any bad thing so that he has to suffer so much at an young age? No. Krishna empowers such devotees. It is for us to understand that by surrendering to Krishna, that is our ultimate purpose of the life. We should not take that as a negative thing that a devotee had to go through certain unfavorable situation. Like Pandavas, everybody will ask, Pandavas have to suffer so much. What is there? What is the point? What is Krishna content? Nowadays, actually, that is what they are asking in India. What is this Ramayana? What is this Mahabharata? Who is Lord Rama? Half the Ramayana is just looking for his wife. He himself looks so helpless. This is what they are saying. But that is not the proper understanding. The proper understanding, Ramayana, Mahabharata, all this episode is an instruction, as a lesson for us to understand how to act, even in an adverse situation. Our entire Puranas, Prabhu, is filled up such stories. The devotees had to go through several unfavorable situations just to please the Lord. Did they really suffer? Not really, because Krishna empowers them. Any final thought, devotees? Subal Prabhu, any more thought? Okay, maybe Subal Prabhu is busy. Ashama,
Yeah, you covered very nicely, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. As you mentioned, Prabhuji, Krishna gives special mercy to devotees so that they can come back in a better format. Like when a gold has to be molded, it has to go through a lot of heat. So in that way, and that's my understanding, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
yeah, this has to be understood properly. Again, even animal sacrifice devotees, the actual Ashwamedha Yajna. Okay. These are all really happening today's devotees. People ask, what is this Yajna? What are you talking about non-violence and protection, cow protection and so on? How can you kill 1,000 horses for Ashwamedha Yajna? That is how it is used to happen. But the background is that those Brahmanas who were eligible to do this kind of a yajna, they also had the power to elevate that particular species to a higher form. Maybe that all that 1,000 horses, they were elevated to either a human form or even to higher planets. Swargaloka, Tapaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, and so on, Satyaloka, yeah. So if you have that kind of a power, then you can do the animal sacrifice. But now who is doing animal sacrifice? They cannot even take care of themselves. And they are just doing it because they can earn some money. In today's world, Brahmanas have become just somehow they have to survive, not in the olden days. In the olden days, the perfect system was that the Kshatriya used to take care of the Brahmana. The Brahmanas had nothing to worry about at all. Their only goal, how can I spread dharma? How can I spread them? The main activity of a Brahmana is to spread the knowledge. They are the knowledgeable people. And they want to give it to others. That is why we had Gurukul. They were counselors to the king and, like that. So everything has got a little bit background. We have to all read it. But today, many people are, especially the younger generation, are asking this question. Gen Z. We don't believe in Mahabharata. We don't believe in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is dividing the society. Who is Shudra? Why is Krishna saying somebody is lower than somebody else? It's not lower. It's the type of quality of work. Blue collar. Do we call them lower? We don't call them. But do you allow them into a hospital? You perform surgery? We won't allow. Because he's not qualified to do that. Similarly, in the Brahmana has got the ability, he has got the knowledge, he has got the inner and the Swabhava. The Swabhava is to glorify, to do all the priestly work for Krishna. And that is the beauty of devotees, this Krishna consciousness movement developed by Srila Prabhupada. It's Srila Prabhupada's mercy. How he has made so many Brahmanas, so many priests. What a revolutionary thing. Were they born as a Brahmana? No, but they developed. Chaturvarinyam Maya System Guna Karma Vibhagasa, based on their guna. They were naturally inclined to serve the Lord, to do spiritual activities, to do religious activities. So he elevated them. Srila Prabhupada gave them the opportunity to become the Brahmana. And even above Brahmana is what is called Vaishnavas, all the devotees. So how about giving such wonderful opportunities to even women? Srila Prabhupada was very revolutionary. That's why this is called Bhagavad Gita as it is. Why it is as it is? Krishna is not differentiating between man, woman, anybody. He's saying if you have the perfect consciousness, realization about Krishna, about God, everybody is equal. That is what Atma doesn't, it's equal. But Atma now is performing under different qualities because we are going through our Swabhava based on the three modes of nature. That I'm identifying, I'm a man, I'm a woman. Srila Prabhupada said that yes, women can become priests. And only in ISKCON devotees, you will find women priests. They're performing very nicely. Many ISKCON temples. So one of the name for Krishna is Bhava Grahi Janardana. Bhava means the mood, the intent. Krishna sees only the intent. If the intent is pure, he will accept everybody is the same. So devotees, it's almost 9:02. Any final comment to this? Asha Mataji, final, anything you want to say?
नो हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, बहुत अच्छा लगा आपको सुनने के लिए. हरे कृष्ण.
Anybody else? Bhashwati Mataji, you want to conclude, or Raghu Prabhu or Anand Prabhu, you want to say something before we conclude?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, Very well articulated, Prabhuji. Rather than how the bad, you have given an exemplary examples how we have to take that shloka from Bhagavad Gita and all real time examples, Prabhuji. Me from a very remote village in Andhra Pradesh, where I was born in an area where we have more Adivasis, Prabhu. Uh, Even today, Prabhu, if I go home, recently when I was talking to my in-laws and my parents, they were asking, this time when you come, let us sacrifice a goat to the goddess, our village goddess. They were saying, Prabhu. So that is everywhere there, Prabhu. Then we were telling them repeatedly, don't do that. But they don't listen, Prabhu, because from ages, from generations, that is going on, Prabhu. Okay. So whatever you explain, Prabhu, 100%, I can correlate them to the real-time scenarios, Prabhu. Very well explained, Prabhu. Haribol, Prabhu. Haribol. Thank you so
For
much.
Vedic, the history, if you look
Yes,
at it,
yes, Prabhu.
Valmiki was a robber.
Yes, Prabhu.
But we read Ramayana, we consider him as the guru.
Yes.
Vedavyas is not a Brahmana, but we consider him as the highmost Vyasasan. Anytime we talk about anything, glorification of any of the our Veda, we first glorify Vedavyas. From where did it come? Because he had the knowledge. So we are not based on by birth or by who is he, what is his family. Not at all. Has now been twisted by the politician. They would say, "Who are you? What is your background?" and things like that, right? But
Yes, Prabhuji.
we are
Nowadays,
not.
everything is only they see caste, religion, everything, Prabhu. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, but that is not the case. That is why we have to read Bhagavad Gita and understand under proper guidance. That is why this is called Evam Parampara Praptam. Who are we to talk? Based on Srila Prabhupada's message, his purport, his translation. From that, we are quoting. We are not just creating something by ourselves. So, very nice devotees. We've got few more verses to go. Very fantastic, very important verses in the next few. We'll continue with that tomorrow. I think our Raghu Prabhu will continue tomorrow, and we can conclude now. Vanchakalpatrubhesya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitana
Anam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
devotees.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.